Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights.
Okay, really quick, I've always wanted to do this like nature shot inspired by Nathaniel Drew. So yay, here I am. So I'm here at an Airbnb in Santa Cruz taking one of my solo retreats, and I've been feeling very drained. Like I've been operating at the last like 20% of my battery for a few months now, and I've been really asking myself, why do I feel so drained, and just trying to go a couple levels deeper. It's so easy just to enter this state of autopilot. Don't have to question, don't have to challenge, don't have to be uncomfortable. You just keep doing what you're doing because you've been doing that. Like for me, I'm a very introspective person, probably too much. So I've learned to like kind of rein it in, and sometimes I just need to do and not think. But I always find myself needing to really sit down and think about, why am I doing what I'm doing, and does it align with my values and my North Star? Am I letting my fears, anxiety, external pressures guide me, control me, or even oppress me? Or rather, am I in control of that, but being mindful about how I'm reacting to those things?
Let it go. 얼어붙어 like whoa. 띵하고 어지러워. I see. 한여름에도 난 겨울. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I almost felt like trying to sit here. It's so much easier to lay down. But I wanted to like quickly mention, what are these like solo retreat? I feel like a lot of my friends ask me 2 or 3 times a year. I book like a random like cabin, always like in the woods, and take a solo retreat for about like 3 to 5 days to really unplug and rest. In the past, I was not very good at resting, especially at startups where they give like unlimited PTO. Like you actually end up not taking that much time off. That was something I had to get better at. But once I did take PTO, what do I actually do? And yes, of course, like vacation with friends, but I realized that for me, I needed another type of rest, and I was very much redefining like what that rest meant to me. Feeling like my soul was refreshed and like rejuvenated. Again, the purpose of these like solo retreats is for me to really just spend this time with myself and unplug from the world, really. And I've gotten a lot better at like how to do this, but I always like give people that I usually talk to multiple times a week like a heads up, like, hey, I'm gonna be on a trip, FYI, like I'm not dead, this is where I'm going, like I'll check in with you, but don't message me because I am trying to take time off. I have this hobby of just like looking at random Airbnbs. I myself have like curated a pretty like nice list that I've personally been to and reviewed myself, so I can share that Notion doc with you. For me, I realized I get the most energy from like trees, nature, and being in the woods. I only go to places that have hot tubs, places that are like smaller enough for just like one person. Like I don't want there to be like 3-4 empty rooms. It kind of creeps me out. And also somewhere that's like relatively safe. A lot of the places that I've been to are like detached guest homes. However, I have been to places that it's just totally remote. There's like nothing in the 5-mile radius. At first, it's a bit scary, but over time, I felt much more empowered to like, oh, I can do this by myself. I can like travel alone. In terms of like what I do on these retreats, I literally just do whatever the fuck I want. Usually that means like I hot tub like 5-6 times a day, try new recipes, and like cook a whole feast for myself. Do a lot of like journal and like reflecting, and or just like watch TV. I've been obsessed with the TV show The Dropout on Hulu. But I think the main point is no obligations, nothing is grabbing for your attention, and no like time pressure oh, I need to do this, or like, oh, I need to be productive. I think one thing for me that I'm working on is detaching my value from like the output that I create, or like how productive I am, or I'm still like working to untangle that. And I think having practiced retreats like this, where I'm literally just doing jack shit, is helpful. And it just makes me feel really happy. Navigating that has been a lot. In terms of what I do at
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night beneath the mistletoe. It's cold outside, 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 outside. It's cold outside, outside, outside.
Usually during these trips, I try to catch up on my reading. And the book I just finished reading is Free Food for Millionaires by Min Jin Lee. She's the same author of Pachinko, and it's like really good. It has so many layers that I think a lot of other Asian American, like first generation, could relate to, whether that's bearing the burden of meeting up to your parents' expectations, reconciling like what is your personal definition of success, assimilating into a white man's world, growing up in like a conservative Korean church household. It's very relatable. Each character in the book, I can think of a person in my life that kind of reminds me of them. Definitely recommend. Okay, the next book I'm gonna read is David Chang's memoir. It's called Eat a Peach. My favorite genre of books is definitely memoirs, so excited to read this one. Okay, so it's my last night here, so I thought I'd try the fire pit. Almost fucking like burned my hair. But I'm here, and I got my s'mores ready. So while I was eating dinner, I was listening to another Calm episode. They have these like master classes now, which is pretty cool. And there's one by Elizabeth Gilbert. So it's called Creative Living Beyond Fear. And it was actually really, really good. She basically distinguishes the difference between being fearless and being brave. And she was like, you shouldn't aim to be fearless, because that means you're basically a sociopath and you don't have any fear. But instead, you should try to be brave. Rather than letting fear control you, coexist with it, you have the power, not fear. And this whole video is about rest. And I think one of the main questions I was really pondering about during this whole couple days is like, what am I seeking rest from? And obviously we all have shit going on, right? For me, like, work has been pretty crazy, a lot of changes going on, but that's everybody, right? I think for me, the main thing was finding rest from my own oppressive voice, the voice of fear, and how that's been driving me. Okay, and I took good notes. But basically, some of the good points are that being brave does not mean pounding fear like you're gonna kick its ass. That's what society teaches us a lot of the times. But in the process, we just get more exhausted by the battle. So she suggested this exercise in the first part. Write a letter like fear is writing a letter to you. Just listen. Don't engage, don't interrupt, don't challenge. Just hear fear out. And she basically says, start the letter with, dear whatever your name is, I'm your fear, and this is what I want to tell you. Writing this letter is basically recognizing that fear isn't as scary if you let it speak and if you just listen. The second part of the exercise, another letter from you, the most like wise version of yourself, of the potential of who you are, and that version of you responds to fear. So I did it. So I wanted to read some parts to you just to help solidify the exercise. Dear Jenny, this is Fear, and here is what I have to tell you. I know that you are terrified of being perceived as useless, not competent, and ultimately a bad, selfish person. So I enjoy meddling in your life because I inspire you to be better, smarter, more successful, wealthier, more recognized, more beautiful, more popular. Because I know that at the end of the day, you want to believe that nothing is fundamentally wrong with you. You want to increase the chances that you are, in fact, loved and revered. Okay, now here's my second letter responding to Fear. Dear Fear, thank you for being honest. You drive me crazy. You paralyze me, override my rational voice, and sometimes I feel caged in a small 4x4 cell where stepping outside of it means danger. Fear, you no longer get to build these cells and hold the key. I will always make space for your opinions, but you will no longer be calling the shots. Instead, me, bravery, and truth will take the lead. Life will always be crazy. There will always be so much demands. And as we get older, as we grow into bigger jobs, grow into becoming a parent one day or getting married or whatever, there will always only be more demands. And I never want to run away from like complexity, responsibility, and ownership because those things also keep me going. And I think it's a matter of like, how am I responding to that? How am I showing up for myself? I don't even know if I'm making sense. If you resonate with this at all, please be kind to yourself. And my therapist always teaches me relentlessly, by the way, that we all are worthy. We all need to parent ourselves and we are all valued, right? But what does that mean if you don't really believe it? I think for me, I've made incredible strides, especially in the past 1 to 2 years, but I still have ways to go and I'm okay with that. Okay, some more time.
여보세요.